My name is Jessica Lopez, and I am a camera operator with a specialty in Steadicam operating. The average person watching doesn't even know what I do for a living. So as soon as they see that someone is wearing a camera that is being stabilized, it's usually stabilized by some kind of spring contraption, brushless motor or some sort, and it hangs off your body in a sense to where you're almost bionic looking. Wearing that equipment on your body, all of it kind of draws the eye to where people just are like, oh my goodness, what is that? How does it work? And so that's the kind of reaction I get when I'm around average people. Is I've actually had somebody come up and think that I was like gonna bomb something because of all the gear I had and the way my vest looked and the arm coming off. First time I strapped on a Steadicam was in, I think, 2004, 2005 in film school. When I put it on, I was carrying a Canon XL1. Very familiar with that camera. I love that camera. So the fact that I got the rig that had the camera that I liked on it made me feel more comfortable with the idea that I was trying out this new contraption. So it already bypassed half of the problem, which is the functionality of the camera getting the signal through the rig. So, and it's a lighter rig too. So when I put it on, it didn't hurt. It actually felt really cool and challenging. And being a girl that grew up with sports, it kind of allowed me to want to run with it and move with it and not be afraid of it. Replicating human movement. You can replicate human movement through any kind of platform, but to really move like another human, I think it's Steadicam based, because me instinctively, that's how I work. That's how I move. If someone looks over, I'm gonna look and try and tag it. And I know I can control the throw and the headroom and the framing all based on my move. To me, it's just a little bit more forgiving and a little bit more understanding if you're moving with actors in a very important setting or scene. I think, yeah, a Steadicam, it's more expensive, it's more technology, but in the end, I think you save more time because it's fluid, it functions a lot better, it's been relied on for decades, and we know it works, and it outputs good quality if you have a good operator. The weight of the gear can be anywhere between 40 and 80 pounds. Just depends. Depends on the build, depends on the accessories. I know for a fact minimum everything's gonna be 40 pounds because that's kind of what my gear adds up to be without a camera. So you add everything else and it gets heavier and heavier. Walking is a big deal because if you don't understand how your feet move with each other, and if you're not confident, you can trip over your own feet and fall and really hurt yourself. And that seems to be the most common thing with certain operators that don't have experienced footwork or good balance. Those two things can hurt you if they're not in sync. A lot of people don't have good footwork, and it's only because they're just not used. Like a basketball player has amazing footwork. A football player has amazing footwork. That's the same degree of footwork that a camera operator needs. You just have to figure out how to train your feet. My go-to training for footwork is roller skating. It's a few pounds on each foot. And I've been skating since I was 2 years old, forwards, backwards, sideways, tricks, whatever. All of that played a part into me not tripping over my own feet and having good balance. So to this day, I go once or twice a month to the roller skating rink to get in my training, burn 1,000 calories, and I'm out in 4 hours and I'm drenched like I just did a full day of Steadicam. I don't even know how to say it. You want to avoid being cocky. I mean, in the end, there's this thing that happens with a lot of people. They feel like they're entitled because they purchased some rig and got in it and then just spewed out all this stuff like they knew what they were talking about. And in the end, we don't. For the first 3 to 4 years, we know nothing. Just be a little bit abrasive towards people that don't understand what they're going through, what their bodies are going through and all this. And it's like, we have to learn how to translate this in a humble manner so that, one, we are hireable. People like working with us, and we're actually know what we're doing. And the only way to do that is with experience and time, learning how many times not to F up, learning how to be a problem solver, just learning how to get back up and dust yourself off. That's really how you become a Steadicam op. A Don Juan is basically the camera's facing the actors and my body is against it. So the camera's facing out, but my body's facing this way. So instead of me walking backwards downstairs unsafe, I can have the camera facing them and I'm in front of them. And then I can be walking down the stairs, actually seeing the stairs, while I look through my hands and I can see my monitor. So then I have it tilted up, I go down the stairs safely in Don Juan because I don't need to go down the stairs backwards. I can go down the stairs forwards and not fall and hurt myself. So you get down, you get your shot, and then find that moment to switch out of Don Juan and go right into regular mode. So it's just a dance around the rig, one way and the other way, and the rig's either gonna be facing towards you or facing the other way. That's Don Juan. It's very easy, but most of us operators try not to use it unless we've perfected it, and I'm gonna admit I never perfected Don Juan. I use it when I need to, but other than that, I would rather run and walk backwards. Upstairs, on a hill, whatever, if I can. A good example would be the movie Aliens, directed by James Cameron, one of my favorite directors of all time. He took 2 Steadicams and had them outfitted into machine guns. I believe it was an M52 smart gun. So they took a Steadicam vest and arm and made this big, huge gun and plopped it on there. And if you watch Aliens, they go through and there's Jeanette Goldstein and Mark Rolston, who are the 2 actors that are physically equipped enough to carry 70 pounds on their body to play the roles throughout the entire movie. Favorite Steadicam shot of all time is the opening scene of Boogie Nights. It's shot by Andy Shuttleworth. It was a basic shot of walking the actors into the club. Andy took that and pitched what is the shot today to Paul Thomas Anderson and the cinematographer, and was able to help tell a story with the entrance and also block out some very modern gas stations and buildings. So Steadicam starts as a tilt, comes down off a crane, uses the car wipes the crane step off so you can't really see him exit the crane. And then he walks into the club and then flips around backwards and walks in, and you see the main actors take him into the club. But yeah, in that shot alone, you learn about the location, the time and setting of the decade of whatever it is, the purpose of the story. You see all the main actors, you see what they're wearing, you see how they interact with people, and the shot takes you through every cast member that's important and lands. The end of the single take of the opening of Boogie Nights lands on Mark Wahlberg, who is the main character. So you go through, I think, about 10 different people by the time it makes it to Mark Wahlberg in a 2-minute and 30-second take. I look up to basically every woman that is successful in the camera department. I look up to them so much that I am, in fact, intimidated by them because I feel like I'm nothing compared to some of these women, especially DPs with ASC after their names. I stutter when I'm in the room with them trying to hold a conversation. I get nervous, I get sweaty palms. If there was ever a woman that was more representative of what I've been trying for, it is a cinematographer woman. End of 2018, early 2019, I got to work on Avatar 2. Said maybe 2 words to James Cameron. He said a few words back to me, but the fact that I got to be 6 feet away from him as he critiqued mine and 8 other camera shots was pretty magical for me, because I think I was shaking at the time too. I was just like, all of this summed up and came full circle, and I'm on Avatar, and just regular camera operating. I wish so much I was in a Steadicam to really just show him what I could do, but I wasn't. So to me, that's probably one of the most important things ever. So yeah, it's pretty cool how everything intertwines. The reason why I became a filmmaker intertwines with the movies that I love, intertwines with the woman that I wanted to be, which was like Ripley or Vasquez or Sarah Connor. So to me, the Steadicam kind of embodies a little bit of their identities. And so that's always who I envisioned being. And this was the only thing that was going to get me to that look and that skill set and that badassery of being a woman in a man's world.